Good evening, Coyote Nation, and welcome back to the Howling podcast. Tonight, we bring you episode 11. My name is Jordan Decker, and I am joined tonight by fellow Coyote fans Chad Berger and Mark Wendt. You can catch us on X at HowlWithUs3, catch myself on X at JD6OP5, and catch Mark on X at WDiamond605. And of course, you can catch Chad on X at Chad Berger. That is Birger at Chad Berger. The opinions on this show are strictly ours, just three casual fans, and not of those of the University of South Dakota or the athletic department. Tonight's show, once again, brought to you by the Wakanda Peach Company out of Wakanda, South Dakota. Wakanda Peach Company, where all your peach dreams come true. Gentlemen.
And we have a special announcement about the Wakanda Peach Company. Mark, you want to give us
sir.
A little bit of breaking news with the Wakanda Peach Company. We will be moving to Burbank, South Dakota here November 14th. So planning on making arrangements to get the tree down there. Doesn't appear to be too big to move. So just waiting for a price tag on that and how many payments I'll have to make to get the tree down there. But Wakanda Peach Company, Burbank, South Dakota, coming soon. All your peach dreams will still come true.
Will this affect the inventory, Mark?
I hope not.
Okay, good.
And for those of you watching online right now, which according to my screen is 0 people, but you can see Mark and I have the official Wakanda Peach Company hats on, the swag, as the kids say, the merch. So make sure to get some of that merch.
Not hard to get. Come find us.
Tweet at Mark, getting his mentions.
All right. Well, let's go through the results from last week. Start off with the Cross Country Summit League Championship. The women finished 4th overall. Madison Brower with a time of 21:04:17. And the men finished 3rd overall. And you can see the top finisher there. Mark, go ahead and pronounce that one for us.
Looks like Mr. Keifel.
Yeah, with a 24:56. That's a good mark. Excellent mark right there. And then the women's soccer team played in the Summit League tournament the other night. Kind of a heartbreaker. Mark, talk about this one a little bit.
Well, so Chad doesn't believe in jinxes, but I totally jinxed the soccer team. So apologies to the soccer team. With 4 minutes to go, I decided to call Chad and tell him to, hey, turn on the soccer game. 4 minutes left. We're up 1-0. We're about to win at South Dakota State. And how long was that conversation, Chad? 10 seconds before?
Yeah, they scored about 30 seconds after you called me. So, yeah.
Yeah, right. So, valiant effort from the Yotes there. Ended up falling in double overtime. Actually, the game winner in the first overtime, the Yotes had a shot on goal, which unfortunately hit one of our own players right before the goal line. So, one of those heartbreaking losses, but great effort by the team, and one senior graduating. So, a young squad coming back next year, and bigger and better things ahead for them.
Yeah, they competed well this year overall. I know we talked about it was a little slow start, but when they had to go up against the top in the Summit League, they competed really well. So it was good to see from the young squad. But I agree with you, Mark. Bigger, better things ahead for this team.
Yep, absolutely.
And watching the stream, it looked like it was just cold up there in Brookings. I mean, the fans were all wearing, winter coats, hats, gloves, covered in like Afghans and all kinds of interesting fleece blankets and whatnot. Lots of cold weather gear. I know that we're in November here, but goodness gracious,
toughen up, Brookings.
Toughen up a little bit, yeah. Anyways,
on par.
Additionally, football 52-0 win in the bye.
Solid.
Unofficially, yeah.
Unofficially.
And volleyball had a good week. 3-1 victory over North Dakota and 3-0 versus ORU. So that was a good win on Saturday. Any comments on those guys?
Taking care of business. That was the song that came to mind after each match. It was teams they're supposed to beat, supposed to crush. I watched the highlights, watched a little bit of the ORU, but it's what good teams do.
Mark was actually trying to text us during that ORU matchup, and we were both responding to him, but his phone had a setting on there, and so he was receiving none of those texts.
Yeah, I thought
It
maybe
made sense while I couldn't get text from him because I was like, man, you must be really into this blowout against ORU because you're not texting at all.
I thought maybe I was fired. I didn't know what was going on. I was getting nothing. So
I was even texting like, "Hey, you're on camera. Give us the finger wag," or and some of that stuff, and we got nothing. So I don't know what was going on there.
that was about the only thing that went wrong.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and talk about volleyball. Volleyball, as with the 2 wins this week, improved to a 17-6 record, 9-3 in the Summit League. Thursday versus North Dakota, it was Halloween, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the attendance was a little bit light, 737, but the Yotes were able to pull off a 3-1 victory, 25-23, 22-25, 25-18, and 25-12. First couple were tight there, Mark, but then after that, it was pretty dominant performance by the Yotes.
Yeah, it's a little stuck in the mud there the first 2 sets. I don't know the reason for that exactly, but yeah, once they got rolling, it never felt like the outcome was in doubt. So sets 3 and 4 looked much more like the Yotes look when they're going good, and it was a nice victory on Halloween night, and I didn't have to hand out one piece of candy.
Cheapskate. So anyways, we'll talk about the results of last week's iChart of the Week poll coming up here in a little bit. But yeah, so Mark didn't hand out any candy, shut the lights off, went to the volleyball match. It turned out great. And then on Saturday, hosted Oral Roberts, big 3-0 win, 25-19, 25-13. I don't know why there's 4 scores up here, Mark, but
Fire the editor.
25-15.
We won 4-0.
And so you can see the attendance there was 1,078. It was senior day for the Yotes on Saturday. So, Mark, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Kylan Seelock looked, she's the last 4 or 5 matches, she's been swinging really, really well, like just cannons coming off her hand. Lauren Medic played great. Cheyenne Halady played great. Really overall a great showing for the team and a great senior night, even though I wish there was 2,000 people there instead of the 1,000. But we did what we were supposed to do against Oral Roberts and took care of business there, and looked good doing it. So had a great time.
Yeah, and the Yotes hit over 300 on all 3 of the sets. And I did double check the stats here, and that 25-13 shouldn't be on there. It was 25-19, 25-15, and then 25-22. So yeah, we'll go ahead and get our editor involved. But
you're fired.
Kylan Seelock led the team with 19 kills, Cheyenne Halady 10, Lauren Medic 10. Lauren Medic had 2 aces on the day, so good serving performance for her. The Yotes in that third set did miss quite a few serves, and so it's a little bit concerning there. Can't be serving long. 872 square feet out there. You just got to hit one of them, right, Jordan?
Mark, didn't you tweet out or something that someone responded that certain service errors are strategic in like rotation for the other team?
Yeah, someone did, and I did not check into that, and that would be very interesting if that was true.
It would make sense for all of the service errors that we get frustrated about. And if mentally I could go, because I know I've gotten a little bit more about volleyball, but like, oh, you know what? No, we did that on purpose because the other team's rotation. That's why we did that.
Right. Strategy. Checkers versus chess.
Hold on. So who said this?
It was in response to the tweet I sent where one of my favorite players on the volleyball team had a service error, which unfortunately landed in the back of Morgan Bodie's head. And one of the responses to that tweet was that, sometimes they're strategic to get the other team to rotate. So that's the first time I've ever heard that. And if that's true, I can be less frustrated at some of those. If it's true, I have no idea.
That might be my eye chart of the week, guys. Whoever said that. So,
Because that can't be a thing, right? Like, there's
you're gonna give
Bob Lucan. Bob Lucan. I was told some service errors are intentional to force the other team's rotation. This certainly was not, with the winky sticking the tongue out smiley face.
Okay, so if you're out there watching right now on YouTube and you're able to comment in response to this, is Bob full of it or is Bob on the right track here? That's what we want to know. So chime in the comments on YouTube and let us know what's going on with these service errors that we're having. I could not see it's like giving an intentional walk in baseball, but just to get them out of a rotation. I don't think that makes sense to me.
I don't know.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around this.
Play to win the game. I don't know. But what do I know?
I don't know.
Okay.
You got the job done. It worked. So,
well, yes, they were rotating to a different spot in that case. Jordan, that will be our cover photo right there. Thank you for taking that drink.
Every freaking time, you guys. Can a man not take a sip of a beverage without getting screenshot?
Well, you got to wait until you're off camera, buddy. So for those of you that are unaware, we post that we're live on YouTube right now, obviously, right? And YouTube picks one particular frame of our entire video, however long it is, and they make that kind of our cover picture for this. Now, I could set the cover picture if I wanted to, but ain't nobody got time for that. No.
You could.
And so, ironically, on like our first 4 episodes, 3 of them were Jordan taking a drink of something, and so it was just absolutely spectacular.
For folks that haven't watched us before, I might as well have Everlast written across my forehead. The amount of times I am the punching bag of this podcast.
I don't know what you're talking about.
We love you, Jordan. Hey,
I have pretty damn thick skin, so I am all for it.
We believe in you, Jordan. You can do it.
I should maybe get the Ted Lasso believe sign behind me or something.
Speaking of that, Dr. O not joining us tonight. Dr. O, if you're out there, thank you for being a loyal fan, loyal listener, loyal supporter of the show. We just decided that we weren't going to do a guest tonight, so sorry about that. And some stats here from Dr. O. Volleyball is great. They're number 1 in kills in the Summit League and number 2 in blocks. And then in addition to that, after the ORU game, number 4 in blocks. Sorry about that. And number 2 in digs. So some great stats here from Dr. O to kind of add to the program and the volleyball knowledge that we all like to spread with the Howl with Us 3 account. So the Howling podcast. Any final comments here on the volleyball week that was?
1 home game left. South Dakota State's coming to town. I sure hope we can bump that attendance number up, and
we're going to clear our calendar and get down there.
We'll talk about that 2 weeks from tonight because it happens to be November 19th, and we got a couple shows before then. So we'll pump that one up on next couple programs to make sure people head out to that game. Now, Dr. O did sends a DM to us here on Saturday. This is the Oral Roberts coach. Mark, what was his name again? I think it was Ted.
Yeah, Ted, Mr.
Ted.
Lasso. Is that his name?
Yeah, Ted Lasso. No, on the right is the Oral Roberts coach, and on the left is Ted Lasso. And it literally was a Googled picture of Ted Lasso standing there, and you can kind of see the uncanny resemblance here in outfits.
Somewhat of a resemblance for sure.
Yeah. I have a feeling it's got pretty similar accents too, being from Tulsa.
Like, I don't think he was dressing up for Halloween. I think that's just
the way he is.
That's just him. I have no idea.
Is that you? Is that you right behind his?
That
his
is me.
shoulder?
That is me.
That's right behind him.
So yeah, Mark's
It
in the
makes me-
photo there.
I mean, I have a weird nose anyway, but that picture, if you zoom in on that, my nose looks really weird.
No, we're not going to zoom in. Oh. And then Mark, it was senior night or senior day on Saturday, and so you got a picture with number 9 here. You want to talk a little bit about that? God bless America.
God bless America. So I tweeted out earlier in the week, we kind of mentioned this briefly before, but when we were talking about the service area into the back of Morgan Bodie's head, Elena Wolf was the server, and she responded to my tweet and said, "Not cool." And I wasn't sure if we had a certain basketball player reoccurrence here. If she was really mad at me, so I made a point to go down after the game and say hi to her, and a great sport. So I appreciate her and all she's done for the Yotes and for the volleyball team and for the university at large. So one of my all-time faves, no doubt. So
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, Mark, I think you have more photos with players than anyone else I know. You do a great job of that.
yeah, I try. I think those are things that you can remember. They'll be back. When I get the man cave set up here in the new place, those pictures will be there forever, and you can always look back. And no, I try to get them. I do a very bad job of football. I have very few football players. Drew Iddings would be the only one that I ever got a photo with, and he wasn't even playing at the time. It was after his playing career was done. So
now I'm going to say football's a lot harder because you don't quite have access to the field of the Dakota Dome like you do with the court.
Right. And then you might see him out and about in the town, but you're not 100% sure. Like, that's a big dude with huge muscles. Like, he's probably a football player, but he doesn't have his jersey on, so I don't know for sure who it is.
Well, and most people, Mark, too, if they see even if they know it's a high V, they're not going to be like, hey, Travis, let's get a picture, man.
Right.
Like, bro,
right.
leave me alone. It's my off day. I don't want a picture.
Exactly. And I'm not that kind of. I wouldn't.
No.
I missed a chance at Chris Nielsen in Hy-Vee. I thought about it, but I didn't do it because I thought it would just be too weird. So,
yeah.
And Jordan would probably say something to an offensive player, and they'd be like, "You're that guy that trash talks our offensive play calling all the time." So,
oh my gosh. Probably no. I man, if they would have known me 4 or 5 years ago on Twitter, I would have been more well known.
Well, let's take a look at the updated Summit League standings then in volleyball. South Dakota State still on top, still undefeated. Omaha next, 10-2. Then USD at 9-3. St. Thomas, North Dakota State, both 6-6. And Denver, Kansas City, Oral Roberts, and North Dakota, all sub 500 on the season. So that brings up an interesting fact that over the last couple weeks of the season here, South Dakota's opponents are North Dakota State, St. Thomas, Omaha, and South Dakota State. So some really good volleyball coming up the next couple weeks. So make sure to tune in and stay up to date with what's happening with the USD volleyball team.
If I can make a quick pitch, Chad, now with those matches coming up and basketball starting is a great opportunity and time to purchase the Midco Sports Plus app. It is $10 a month. The crews do an amazing job. The announcers do an amazing job. I usually keep it just for the academic calendar year. I don't really need it for the summertime. So just cancel it. And then once the school year starts up, start paying for it again. Or if you start now and you want to end, I don't know, after basketball in April, March, be done with it then. But now's a great time because you can watch certain things on ESPN Plus, but the Midco Sports Plus app, you can go back and like rewatch all the Coyote matches. And football that was on Midco, and then soccer is also included on there too. So just a quick plug for Midco Sports Plus.
I haven't seen any kickback yet from them. Did you forget to send us some of that, Jordan? We have a sponsor. The Wakanda Peach Company is our sponsor, but I haven't seen anything from Midco yet. So
TBD.
Okay.
TBD.
That's a
We'll see if we can get
That's a
that worked
freebie. Next one costs you.
Yep.
Well, either way, shout out Jay Elson, Midco Sports Plus. Shout out to the crew at USD Athletics that produces the home matches there. Do a fantastic job. So should be good if you purchase that. All right, let's go ahead and
You're trying to get me taking a sip again? Good Lord.
jump back in. And let's talk about what's coming up this week. This week, football at home, November 9th, Indiana State, 1 p.m. What's going on there, guys?
I think
This is not the Indiana State of old.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Like, I think most people see Indiana State and they think 52-0 us, boring, not going to go. Like, I don't think that's what's going to happen here. I think Indiana State's confident. They just beat UND. We better be ready, and I'm glad that outcome happened the way it did. So the coaches can be like, hey, this is not last year's Indiana State or the year before Indiana State. Like, we need to lock in here. This is it's going to be a football game. So
this is a good offense coming in, Mark. This is this is going to be a good test. Hell, I would argue just the way that both teams are playing, this might be a better test for us than UND on paper. Still going up to UND with the haven't won since 1980, whatever year it was. But on paper, Indiana State presents a few problems on defense for us, on offense for them. They're a really good offensive team. They're pretty good on defense. I still think Yotes can win by 2-3 scores pretty handily, but you're right. This is not the rollover Indiana State team. They're going to compete hard, and they're going to come in from the way that it looks of it. The Dome's only going to be 2/3 of the way with tickets sold. So Coyote Nation, we got to do better. Invite friends, get tickets, buy them even if you aren't going, and then get people to go. This could be a trap game for USD this weekend for sure, especially with North Dakota schools coming up. We can't overlook the Sycamores this year.
100% agree.
And Larry Bird was an Indiana State Sycamore, not on the football team, but that was his alma mater, if I remember correctly.
True.
Yeah, and listen, not to nag on them, but I think they had 400 people at their game this weekend. So I don't know how they sell going to their athletics, but kudos to them for doing it. Again, it's a sound program this year, and basketball always seems to be relative in their conference and stuff, but don't sleep on them this weekend.
All right. So make sure to head to goyotes.com, get some tickets, find out more information, or slide into Jordan's DMs, and he can certainly help you find the link for those tickets. Additionally, Thursday night at North Dakota State, 5:30 p.m., volleyball. North Dakota State, we mentioned earlier, 6-6 in the conference. The team that knocked the Yotes off in the Summit League tournament last year. Kind of a big matchup in my eyes for, the Yotes and need to get off to a good start. That's the only volleyball match this week. So make sure you're supporting. We, as of now, are planning to do an X Spaces live during sets 3 and beyond, if we go that far, on Thursday night. Hopefully we can make that happen. I don't have any football games or anything to cover this week on Thursday nights. Shout out South Dakota High School Activities Association. So hopefully we can make that happen this week. Anything to add with that, guys?
Let's keep the momentum going. Like, let's not trip up here. Close
NSU's a tough place to play. They have kind of a smaller gym for their volleyball. It kind of reminds me of a bigger version of the den that used to be up on the west side of the Dome when volleyball was kind of in the in-between stages. Always a tough place, and they pack it too. So it's loud in there. They got great fans, obviously. But if you've got Midco Sports Plus, or I don't know if NDSU offers it for free through their site, but it's going to be a fun matchup and definitely one that we need to keep the momentum going.
And finally, basketball season is here. Monday night,
Woo.
SCSC. Women at 5:30 versus St. Louis, the Billikens. Is that correct?
Correct.
Former WNIT champs. Reigning, I should say.
They'll be
Reigning
in town.
WNIT champs.
Yep.
Knocked
And
off
then
Minnesota.
the men are to follow versus Southern. So make sure to wear some white clothing and come out to the SCSC and cheer on the Coyote men's and women's basketball teams.
Dust off the eye chart. Here we go. Can't wait.
Do we have the officials yet? Has anyone sent us the list of officials? I'm really excited.
I have not seen that yet,
Okay.
but I look forward to seeing them.
Yeah. Hopefully we get one of our guys from last year, Tucson, or one of those guys, come help us out a little bit. But make sure you head out to the SCSE. If not, as Jordan mentioned, you can tune in on the Summit League Network. Or I believe both those games will they be on the radio?
Oh, I think they all are, aren't they?
Yeah, they'll be on the radio.
Yeah.
Okay, so tune in
John
to
Fair?
your
95.7 in Sioux Falls.
or
John Fair, Jerry?
106.3 comes in for me right here in T. So yeah, tune in. Jerry P on the call for the women's games. Got John Thayer for the men's games. Tune in, listen to those guys. They know what they're talking about. Plus, they have the really cool post game interviews with the coaches too. So that's always worth the listen.
They do a great job.
Yeah.
Great job.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and pop up to our next slide, which is the eye chart of the week. Let me see if I can find the video intro here. A little bit behind with my my eye chart information. I apologize.
Take your time.
Yeah, that's okay. You guys, Mark, you want to tell us about what the eye chart is?
Well, so long time ago, I'll tell you the origin of the story if you want to.
Go ahead.
I decided at one point that I needed to bring a sign to the game. I thought that would kind of add to the flavor of the game and kind of come up with something creative for each game. And I quickly realized that I'm not smart enough or creative enough to come up with a sign for each game. So I was trying to think of something that would I can make one sign and it would carry over forever. And that's how I ended up with the eye chart. Obviously, I didn't make the eye chart. The eye chart existed long before me, but that's where I started to bring it. And I just kind of let the officials know when I might disagree with a call or two during the game. And some people love it. Some people hate it, as we'll see when we get the video going here.
Well, without further ado.
And that's just what they wanted to do there. And all things considered, again, as you see the eye chart cardboard cutout, how appropriate.
Through the review, the eye chart made its way to the video board. It really injected
Let's go, Mark.
some energy.
Gives me goosebumps every single time.
Yeah.
So real quick, David Brown was one of the announcers on that one. John Thayer, right? Don Plitzwhite, who
Jay Elson.
Jay Elson was on there too. So yeah.
Yep.
You kind of hit all the major announcing voices for that one. So
Yeah.
Mark obviously is famous or infamous for holding up that eye chart. And so now we're going to go ahead and list our eye chart moments from the past week, whether it's in games or in life. Mark, tell us the results of the Twitter poll from last week's eye chart of the week.
So last week, Jordan's nominee, and maybe we have to put an asterisk next to the results of this last week's
Darn
eye chart
tootin'.
of the week. Because I managed to misspell WNBA.
4 letters, Mark. 4 letters.
Yeah, I know. So that's on me. And because of that misspelling, Jordan only got 9.5% of the vote.
Rigged.
Chad's nominee, Howling, No Candy Givers, thankfully came in second at 38.1%. What? And my nominee, Bears cornerback Tyreek Stevenson, for completely ignoring his job during a Hail Mary versus the Washington Commanders, was the winner with 52.4% of the vote.
Got the majority. All right. Well, since you won,
Good
Mark.
for you, Mark. Congratulations.
Yeah.
MKRA, Mark.
Jordan, what's your record on the year here?
Well, it started out great. I think I was like 3-0 or something, but it's been a slide since, man. All right.
Well, I mean,
I got one this week. I got it this week, though.
Blame others, or you
everyone.
do better. Yeah, do better.
That's
all
fair.
right, Mark. Since you won, go ahead and lead us off then.
So, my eye chart of the week goes to People Magazine. I don't know if you guys saw this. I tweeted it out. They were awarding their sexiest podcasters of the year, and they gave it to the Kelsey brothers, Jason Kelsey and Taylor Swift's boyfriend. I did not go down the rest of the list to know what 2 through 10 look like. I just feel like, if you'll change the view to all three of us, like, come on, like, need I say more? My eye chart of the week is People Magazine.
This
Well deserved.
BS. We were higher. We should have been higher.
Jordan, go ahead and give us your eye chart of the week.
Oh, speaking of sexy, nice close up there, Chad, of me. All right, my eye chart of the week goes to people that leave their shopping carts in empty parking spaces. I don't care if it's a grocery store, department store, whatever. I was at the 60th Street North Walmart the other day. It was actually pretty nice outside. Was getting in my car, and there was a gal who was literally 2 bags in her cart, was unloading them. Very healthy looking, very mobile, getting around her car. Took the bags out of the cart and put them in the back seat, and then proceeded to get in her driver's. And I'm just sitting there, driver's side door, and I just went, okay, there's no way she's 2 parking spots away from the corral to put the cart back. She proceeded to get into the car and then drive off. And so her cart was just sitting in the middle of a spot, 2 spots away from the corral. I mean, it would have taken her maybe 30 seconds. So my eye chart of the week goes to people that don't put away their shopping carts. Vote accordingly.
All right. Well, I started a new season of Rec League Volleyball this past Monday, and we show up. Game was supposed to start at 7:30, and our opponent does not show up. And finally, at about 7:40, 10 minutes after the scheduled start time, they get about 3 people there. You're supposed to have 6. And then proceed to play outside the rules of the game. So they tried to make a few calls. Anyways, my eye chart of the week goes to Rec League Volleyball Cheaters. Rec League Volleyball Cheaters get my eye chart of the week.
That's a good one. Dang it. That's a good one.
I'm going to win. Feel
like Mark, you're coming in third. Face it.
No. Come on, look at us. Come on.
Come on.
Kelsey brothers.
Anyway. All right. Well, that's our eye chart of the week. That's usually where we leave off, but we do have one final thing that we want to do tonight. So, Jordan, I'll kind of let you take over here.
Yeah, thanks, Chad and Mark, for letting me do this at the end of tonight's episode. As Coyote Nation knows, we lost a former Coyote women's basketball player last week, but most importantly, the world lost a fantastic human being, a fantastic mother, wife, daughter, friend, and Bridget Arns Schumacher. She passed away last Friday, and I was able to go to the visitation on Friday night, and just wanted to share some thoughts and share some of the words that were shared there before we end tonight's episode. So again, thanks for letting me do this. Bridget Schumacher was born May 18th, 1994 in Yankton, South Dakota, and passed away unexpectedly Friday, October 25th, 2024 at Avera Sacred Heart in Yankton at the young age of 30. Bridget loved growing up on the family farm with her brothers and sisters. She graduated from Crofton High School in 2013 and saw her degree in psychology with a minor in education and coaching from USD. While she would be remembered at USD as an amazing and fearless Coyote basketball player and team leader, she would be remembered for much, much more. She went on to obtain her master's in school counseling, which allowed her to do what she loved in helping people. Bridget applied her passion as an elementary guidance counselor at Crofton, and at the time of her death was nearly completed in obtaining her master's in school administration. Bridget married Taylor Schumacher on May 26, 2018, and to this union, they were blessed with 4 beautiful children. As one of their children, Eli, would always say, "Dad, your mom's one true love," a love that only deepened as she took on her favorite title of Mom. Bridget would always say, "I just want to be with my kids." And her daycare provider would always say, as soon as Bridget pulled up into the driveway, she would run to the door. Bridget took her kids everywhere, whether that was going to Taylor's softball games, meeting Taylor at the farm, taking the kids anywhere and everywhere, or staying home. She loved being with her children and her husband more than anything in the world. She had a way of making everyone around her feel like they were family, whether you were just a neighbor next door or a cousin 10 hours away. She welcomed you with that dimple smile or a long, friendly conversation, and a conversation that made each person walk away feeling special and one in which they would never forget. Bridget didn't need to vocalize or outwardly express her faith. She lived it. Even if that meant dragging her 4 busy kids to church by herself, she was bound and determined to pass on her faith to her children. Her children quickly took on her faith by finding a love for nativity scenes and baby Jesus, and this love led to a nativity collection that the kids are always excited to arrange and display. This, guys, this one was tough, and we just pass our condolences on to Bridget's family, her friends, all her loved ones, and especially Taylor and all of their kids. So we're going to end tonight's episode on that note, and rest in peace, Bridget Arns Schumacher, gone way too soon.